couple months earlier, we had dug an area with hopes to pour concrete and make a level area for bus parking. Unfortunately, we haven't had less than 4 days without rain in a row, which has held us back from finishing off the bus parking pad.
Swimming pool's open right now, if you're really up for it.
Our goal was to come in and get the last of the ceiling rust ground off.
Even though this was technically more demo to prep for the build, we had saved it until we had a floor down, as it would have been very dangerous to use the angle grinder while trying to balance on only the metal beams of the bus floor. Oh, here comes the rain.
Yeah. At least it's not snowing, because we need to paint this tonight or tomorrow so we can seal this new exposed metal so it doesn't rust.
What'd you put on the angle grinder?
A 60 grit sandpaper disc. It takes everything right off. Oh, it's so hard holding your hands up for that long. My arms are getting tired. There's quite a bit of rust up here. With a fresh coat of silicone paint on the roof, we're pretty sure we'd sealed up the bus, stopped any leaks that had occurred, and had caused any of the ceiling areas to have surface rust.
Now we just needed to wait for a dry day so we could open up all the windows and hatches and paint over our newly sanded metal with primer.
It was a pretty dirty job, and left Mella with plenty of mess to vacuum up.
Bus life. After taping out our floor plan ideas, we were unsure about how the space would really feel.
As luck would have it, there was an RV show happening, so we went to see what we could learn.
But check out this clasp for holding your sliding door window.
Yeah.
It holds it still.
What do you think about the colors?
You never spent $270,000 on that.
How big does it feel? Oh. Yeah, we spent a lot of time walking around with our measuring tape, just trying to get a feel for how big some of the bathrooms were, because there were mainly only 3 or 4 different layouts, 2 of which we did not like at all. They seemed like a waste of space.
This feels way more cramped than the corner shower issue for some reason. To stand in a bathroom space, feel what it feels like with different designs and how much space you really need was cool. And I think I learned that big spaces can feel cramped and small spaces can be well organized and feel spacious. Like you don't have to have a huge bathroom. Corner shower is definitely a little more spacious.
The smallest square footage that we saw was a center hallway. So you've got the shower on one side, the toilet on the other side, and then doors that could close. Does it feel big when you shut the doors and you have the center area?
Yeah. Being in the kitchens there, a lot of them didn't have a lot of kitchen space because I think RVs are made more for holidaying rather than full-time living. Thus having enough kitchen counters and cupboards is important because we cook a lot. It did feel like when there was an L-shaped kitchen, that it felt like there was more space. We've also been looking at refrigerators and being like, how big is 8 cubic feet? Well, we could make it work, but I think we'd definitely prefer to go to a 10 cubic foot fridge. We saw a lot of different RV stovetops and ovens. I wonder if we could find a RV stovetop. Oh, this is so cute! We've got each little kitchen.
Yeah, I think so too.
Looking at dozens of RVs, we didn't have any aha inspiration. There was a lot of the same designs.
Except for the little retro teardrop trailers.
It's a pretty good one, actually.
It was helpful to be in these spaces, so we took our notes home and decided to let things stew before we revisit our floor plan. So what's your favorite part about the snow?
Well, it looks pretty. Certainly not that it's cold.
We knew doing our conversion in the Midwest outside would have some challenges. And our blood was still thin from living in California for the last 20 years.
So once the sun came out, even if the temperature was low, we tried to make it out and do more bus work.
We sprayed the Rust-Oleum spray paint on patches in the ceiling frame that needed it.
So any place that was shiny or any place that had just a tiny bit of surface rust on the beams, went ahead and covered them with the spray paint. And so hopefully that Rust-Oleum will keep them coated and we'll be ready for our ceiling.
Hand hurts.
Let's do it!
I think so.
If you've been enjoying these videos, please like or subscribe if you're not already. And if you're really loving these videos and you want to help us continue to make videos, we've got a Patreon set up.
So join our Rehabber tribe. We share extra bonus content on there. There's a lot of other perks to being part of the Rehabber tribe. So we'd love it if you'd become one of our patrons.
And help us continue to make videos like this one. I never thought that battling the elements would be such a difficult part of this bus build. But as you can see from my breath, it's a little nippy out here. It was warm yesterday, like 36 degrees warm.
The next steps for our conversion would be putting in our skylights and fans. But the weather wasn't right for working on the roof of the bus.
So we made the best of enjoying the beauty of winter.
Meanwhile, getting ready for another season of ice skating here. Oh!
Have some fun sliding across
What'd you find there?
Deer print. Families around.
Once again, we're fighting off the elements. In today's episode, I'm going to use the heat gun to try to get the ice out of the lock because we can't open the bus.
Yay! Oh.
Okay. Unlocked. There we go. Oh, it was frozen shut.
Don was set to go on a work trip to California. With the weather restricting our bus work, we decided to turn this trip into a road trip adventure. Only in hindsight do we realize how lucky we were to get this road trip in just weeks before the COVID-19 pandemic hit the US.
With hopes that when we return back in a couple weeks, we'd have warmer weather to work on the bus.
The second day into our trip, we drove through some pretty bad weather in Oklahoma.
The rest of the trip was pretty smooth sailing. What happened?
I guess it's not this way.
We took a 20-hour stopover in Las Vegas.
Don won a little money, so we went to dinner and a show.
The number one thing that I don't miss about Los Angeles is this traffic.
We are here at my old Pilates studio, Westwood Pilates. I haven't been back obviously in like 8-9 months. It was my baby, my old studio. So we're gonna go take a Pilates class, and we are getting some pieces of Pilates apparatus that we're going to be able to build a Pilates tower in the bus. We are in beautiful sunny California, and the weather is not disappointing. The whole point of this trip was Don needed to come here in Anaheim, and so I'm dropping him off for work, and I get to be a lady of leisure. I am going to visit some friends, but before I do that, I'm going to get a little workout in, do some Pilates, and then I'm going to hit up the gym in the building. I was trying to be a minimalist when I packed for this trip, but I'm regretting not bringing some walking, running shoes because it was really hot working out in Uggs.
We got to catch up with some of our favorite people. Before we knew it, our week in California was up and we were back on the road.
We're off for some adventures, some new places, visiting new places that we haven't been before.
I just want to get out of this traffic.
This time, taking the southern route to visit family in Texas. Stopped in New Orleans for a long weekend.
It's raining today in New Orleans. Did you know that it actually rains more in New Orleans than it does in Seattle?
And a quick visit to Fontainebleau State Park. Huge thanks to
Witt's Hobby Homestead, who recommended we come here. Thanks for suggesting it. It was perfect. We loved it. It was great to get out in nature and away from the city. We've been traveling pretty fast on this trip. We wanted to be able to get back to the bus, but we're kind of tired. Like, the city really drained us and it was so non-stop. And
our city days are over.
yeah, I think our city days are over. I'm happy to be in nature for a bit. So off to Tupelo.
We have to stop by at least one statue of Elvis.
Before we headed back home to work on the bus. But we'll share that with you next time.